Anyway, I think you're referring to our hen night, are you?
Yes.
I think there are pictures of our hen night. And so we had Elton John's wife at the time, Renata. We had Pamela Stephenson.
Sarah Ferguson is no longer the Duchess you remember. What happened in April 2026? Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who loves royal drama as much as you do. Picture this. Chandeliers glittering inside a grand royal residence, whispers echoing through polished hallways, and a duchess once known for her charm now at the center of a storm no one saw coming. Sarah Ferguson, Fergie to millions, was once the relatable royal. The laughing, slightly rebellious duchess who didn't quite fit the mold but somehow made that her brand. But fast forward to April 2026, and the narrative has shifted dramatically. Headlines are louder, rumors are sharper, and behind the scenes, things may be far more complicated than the public realizes. So what really changed? And why are people suddenly talking about a housing crisis and a life that feels unsettled? Let's unpack the story everyone is whispering about, but few truly understand. From royal rebel to royal question mark, Sarah Ferguson has always been a bit of a paradox. On one hand, she was the duchess who laughed too loudly, spoke too freely, and connected with the public in a way that felt refreshingly human. On the other, she often found herself tangled in controversies that made headlines for all the wrong reasons. But those earlier controversies almost feel mild compared to what's unfolding now. Back in the day, Fergie's story was about reinvention. She bounced back from public scrutiny, built a career, wrote books, and stayed connected to the royal orbit through her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. She wasn't a working royal, but she wasn't exactly out either. Now, that middle ground seems to be disappearing, and people are starting to ask, has the balancing act finally reached its breaking point? The Royal Lodge situation, a turning point? For years, it symbolized stability for Sarah and Prince Andrew. Even after their divorce, the two maintained an unusual but enduring living arrangement that kept them closely tied, both to each other and to royal life. But in recent months, that stability has been questioned. Reports have surfaced suggesting major changes regarding Royal Lodge, sparking conversations about finances, responsibilities, and long-term arrangements. While details remain complex and often speculative, one thing is clear. The situation has drawn intense public interest. And when headlines start using phrases like eviction or uncertainty, people pay attention. It's not just about a house. It's about what that house represents: status, security, and identity. So when that foundation starts to feel shaky, the ripple effects go far beyond the walls of any estate. Could this be the moment that forced everything else to unravel? The so-called housing crisis, reality or rumor? Let's address the phrase that's been dominating headlines: housing crisis. It sounds dramatic, and that's exactly why it spread so quickly. But what does it actually mean in this context? For someone like Sarah Ferguson, housing crisis doesn't look like the typical struggles most people face. Instead, it reflects uncertainty within a very specific and highly visible lifestyle. Changes in residence, questions about long-term living arrangements, and the pressure of public scrutiny can create a situation that feels unstable, even if it looks luxurious from the outside. And that's the part people often miss. Because while the public imagines ballrooms and tiaras, the reality might involve complicated logistics, shifting expectations, and constant attention from the media. It raises an uncomfortable but fascinating question. Can someone appear privileged on the outside while quietly navigating chaos behind the scenes? A life under the spotlight, or avoiding it? Public appearances have always been part of Sarah Ferguson's identity. Charity events, galas, interviews, she thrived in the spotlight. But recently, there's been growing curiosity about her visibility. Some say she's keeping a lower profile. Others suggest she's simply being more selective. Either way, the shift hasn't gone unnoticed. And in the age of social media, absence can speak just as loudly as presence. Think about it. When someone who's always been visible suddenly seems harder to pin down, people start asking questions. Is it a strategic move, a personal choice, or just coincidence? The truth is likely more nuanced than any single headline suggests. But one thing's for sure, the less people see, the more they speculate. Inside the pressure cooker, public image versus private reality. Imagine living in a world where every decision, where you live, where you go, even what you wear, can become a headline. That's the reality for someone like Sarah Ferguson. And in 2026, that pressure feels more intense than ever. The challenge isn't just managing real-life changes. It's managing how those changes are perceived. Because perception, especially in the royal sphere, can shape the narrative more than facts. One day you're seen as resilient. The next, the story shifts, and suddenly you're at the center of controversy again. It's exhausting just to think about. But here's the deeper insight. When your identity has been tied to a role for decades, what happens when that role starts to shift? That's not just a royal question, it's a human one. This isn't just another royal headline. It feels bigger, more personal, more unpredictable. Maybe it's because Sarah Ferguson has always felt more relatable than most royals. Or maybe it's because her story reflects something universal, the idea that life can change quickly, even when it seems stable. Either way, one thing is certain. The version of Sarah Ferguson we thought we knew is evolving. And whether that evolution leads to clarity or more questions remains to be seen. Do you think this is just media exaggeration? Or is there something deeper going on behind the scenes? Is Sarah Ferguson heading for a major comeback? Or stepping away for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it.